Today we're going to be talking about some of the warning signs that the lender that you're working with on a VA refinance, they're trying to rip you off or they're sketch as hell. Yes, this is going to be a super blunt video, so get ready for it. Now, if you're new to the channel, I am a lender licensed in 48 states, and because a client says I have to do this because you guys watch me on TV, which I appreciate. If you have questions, if you're like, am I getting hosed, or hey, what are rates? Does it make sense? My phone number is 707-478-0637. That is my real phone number. That is my cell phone number. If you call it 3, I am not answering. So yeah, but feel free to reach out. Appropriate hours. It doesn't matter. I turn it off. Okay, so let me give you some basic information which I think will help you identify the signs that you're working with a scuzz bucket. So number one, rates change all the time. So rates are not the same Monday to Friday. They could be, but they may not be. Rates are moving with the financial market. You need to think of them as like a living entity because they're constantly changing, okay? That's number one. Number two, a lender cannot lock an interest rate for you until they have a triggered application. And what that means is we have your Social Security, we've run your credit, you filled out a full mortgage application, okay? We can only lock you with that application. And since it's a refinance, of course, we're gonna have your address in there. So the third thing is that VA does not set the interest rates. So depending on the lending company and the loan officer that you're working with, the rates can be vastly different. I cannot stress that enough. Like, one of the reasons I started talking about VA so much is there's so much predatory lending behavior, and it made me sick. It was so wrong, and I still see that today. I was actually talking to a gentleman named Corey. Corey, if you're watching this, shout out. And he was the inspo for this because he was telling me, like, Jen, I've been talking to all these lenders about refinances. It's crazy. I'm getting quoted like 5.5. I'm getting quoted 6.75. You know, why is there such this variance? And the variance is because of the lender you're talking to, what their rate sheet looks like, as well as if they're charging you additional money for the rate, okay? So now that we know the basics, let's go over again. Rates change all the time. Think of them as living. A lender cannot lock your rate until they have an application from you. And the third, yep, I forgot it. So hopefully you remembered it. Great. So we have those 3 pieces of information. So why does that matter to you? Simple. It helps you determine what's bullshit. It's that simple. So if you get something in the mail and let's say that the mail is saying your VA benefit entitles you to a rate of 5% and $10,000 cash back, that's not a thing. You're not locked at 5%. They can't guarantee 5%. Anytime anyone's mailing you anything with an interest rate, it's a joke. It's not locked. They can't guarantee that rate. It's bait. It's bait. It's nothing more than bait. And what you'll see is you'll see a big disclaimer block that says, you know, this rate is as of XYZ date, and it's in this situation. And you're like, well, wait a second. Why would you mail me something that would expire before it even got to me? Clickbait. It's just bait, guys. It's just to get you to call. Like, that's the whole thing. They know that the average American has no idea how interest rates work, but we're changing that right now. So whenever you see someone mailing something with a rate, throw it away, okay? Just throw it away, because here's the thing about relationships. If someone's deceptive with you up front, what makes you think they're gonna change, right? The guy who lies to you or the gal who lies to you on the first date, do they suddenly start telling the truth? No. Same thing here. So watch out for that, okay? Now, the next thing is transparency. How transparent is the lender? Now, let me tell you what I do. If you say, hey, Jen, I'm thinking of refinancing, you know, where are your rates at? I'm always happy to tell you. I'm also happy to share a picture of my rate sheet with you. Now, once again, remember, VA doesn't set the rates, so it depends on the lending company and the individual loan officer, the rate that you get offered. I'm happy to show you everything I have though. You know, here's the rate without you paying any money for the rate. Here's what you could buy down on the rate. If you want to have money go towards your closing costs, then this is the rate you would get. And we can go through it. If a lender says, well, I can't share my rate sheet with you, why? Why? I mean, look, guys, I'm licensed in 48 states to do mortgages. I do so much mortgage education. There is nothing illegal about me sharing my rate sheet with you. There's nothing illegal. The reason a lot of people don't want to share their rate sheets is because it stops the game, okay? I don't like games. I feel like life is short. I feel like if I want to play a game, I'm going to play Monopoly, and I don't want to play Monopoly, okay? Ugh, it's horrible. You get trapped with your family for hours. There's fight. No, thank you. But some lenders play games, and the games are, oh yeah, I'm going to get you 5.875. And you're like, okay, great. Is there a cost to that? Yeah, there's a cost to that. Okay, well, what is it? Well, don't worry about that. We're going to roll it into your loan. No, you are going to worry about that. You are. So if a lender will not be transparent with you, why are you working with them? Seriously, like, what's the game they're playing? What's their, why won't they show it to you? Okay? Sometimes it's because the rate that they're promising you, they can't even get, right? And that's the thing too. It's like, if I'm talking to someone on the phone and they haven't filled out an application, my rate sheet's based on the information that they gave me. And I'm always going to say that. Like, if you tell me your credit score is, 700 and it comes in at 4, that's going to change things a little bit. Okay. So, but there's no reason a lender can't be transparent with you. The third thing is you want to make sure a lender's willing to go through all the costs of refinancing. There's always cost when you refinance, okay? VA has a funding fee. It's different based on the loan type. You may be exempt, you may not. The lender may have a fee. We waive our fee on all VA loans, our lender fee, but I can't waive the title company's fee. I can't waive the escrow or attorney's fee. And unfortunately, we still have to have them involved. Yeah, it's part of the process. I would love to just not have them involved, but you have to. I can't waive their fees. So if a lender won't break it down with you, and look, I do the loan summaries line by line once I have an application, just because then I can get accurate information. But at the same point, we don't control those fees. But if you say, Jen, what are your fees? My fees as a lender, I can do it really quick. So really important that they're willing to talk to you about fees. Now, when you hear this language, well, it's no out of pocket, so why are you worried about that, Barbara? Seriously, people say this stuff. You don't need to worry, Barbara. I'm going to save you so much money. It's going to be great. You can take the kids to ballet and get an extra ice cream sundae. It's no out of pocket. And you're like, oh my God, he's a saint. He's so wonderful. Bob the lender, that's for you guys who've watched for years. Bob the lender's no, Bob's not a saint. So here's how that works. No out of pocket is key for we're rolling the fees into the loan, which in fairness, that's how I do most refinances because most people don't want to pay out of pocket. But I definitely say, let's say for instance, oh, it's a $500,000 loan. The fees, title, escrow, maybe you have some taxes, insurance. Maybe you're in Florida and you have intangible tax. Fees, $8,000, whatever it is. I'm going to say, look, your loan's going to go up to $508 because we're rolling it in. You want to know this stuff, okay? If anyone's ever trying to tell you that something's free and easy, there's something they're not telling you, okay? Can it be easy? Oh yeah, guys, look, loans aren't that hard. They're easy, okay? Like, they're easy. But there's no such thing as truly 100% free. There's not, right? When we're talking about other people's fees, like title and escrow, well, if I have to make sure they're in the party, either it's gonna get rolled into the loan, you're gonna pay it out of pocket, or you're gonna get a slightly higher rate. So that's another play. So like sometimes you'll see lenders that had high rates to begin and they've got clients like in the 8s and they're refinancing them now to 7. And it's like, well, is that where rates are? No. But what they're doing is they're making it so that there's, extra money in the rate to pay for the closing costs. But they're not telling the client, hey, look, if you paid for this or if you rolled this into the loan, your interest rate would be XYZ lower. And the reason that they're not doing that is because, look, a refinance is harder to sell when people start doing the math, because then they go, oh, well, wait, does this make sense? right? And you should say that. You want to say that. You don't want to just refi because the lender says it's a good idea. Like, no, you want to go, well, does this make sense? And like, that's what we're always looking at is, does it make sense? Does it make sense for you to refinance? You know, the people that are calling you out of the blue and sending you mail, all they do is refinances. So refinances always make sense because otherwise they're going to starve. You know, the other tactic I would say to watch out for is really watch out for high pressure sales. So a high pressure sale is this. I'm going to be Bob again. You're Barbara. Barbara, we've talked about rates. It's a great rate. I've told you this. It's going to pay for ice cream sundaes every Sunday for the next 4 weeks. Barbara, I need you to fill out that paperwork, okay? You need to tell Barry that I need him to sign too because I got to lock your rate because Barbara, rates are going up tomorrow. Are they? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I've been a lender for 17 years, like one of the top in the country. Like, they could go up, they may not. We're in too volatile of a market for a lender to be making a claim like that. You know, here's what I would say. I would say, Barbara, ice cream's unhealthy. No, no, no. I would say, hey, you know, look, if you like the rate, we should lock it today. You know, rates are volatile. They could go up, they could go down tomorrow. If you're comfortable taking that risk, totally cool. If not, I'm happy to lock it. I just need to make sure that you know that rates can change and I don't control the markets. It's that simple because that's the real deal. That's the real deal. So whenever you have someone hardcore pressuring you, it's a red flag that they just need a paycheck because with a refinance, there should be no pressure. This is at your will, at your whim, right? You already own the house. So you want to make sure you're making a good decision. And when you start feeling that pressure, step back, okay? Now look, as I say that, would I get aggressive? It depends. Like the only time you're going to see me aggressive is let's say you've been waiting for a specific rate and I've been watching the market for months and I have that specific rate and I don't think it's going to stay based on what I've seen in the market. At that point, I will be like, hey, like this is what you've been telling me you want. Based on what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. You know, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's up to you. But once again, that's as high pressure as I get and it's based on data. It's not based on, you know, act now while supplies last. So I just wanted to do a quick video. Those are the red flags to look out for. If you guys have questions, if you want to talk about if refinancing makes sense, get on the calendar, reach out. Like we're here to support you and we're here to get you to the finish line if it makes sense for you financially. Thanks for watching.